Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to a tutorial on how to make a basic beat for absolute beginners. Maybe you're just getting into music production, don't know where to start. Maybe you're into rapping and you want to rap over something that's not just a YouTube beat. Maybe you're making a school presentation and you want to be quirky and rap it instead of give a presentation. Or maybe you're just bored endlessly scrolling through YouTube to fill a void inside your soul. Anyways, if either of those applies to you, then you've come to the right place. You don't need to know anything about music theory, anything about music production. All you need is a mind, a heart, and an opinion of what you think sounds good and what you think sounds bad. If you have those three things, I guarantee that if you follow this video, you will be able to make a killer beat in 10 minutes. That includes you, Father, and Steve. Thanks for watching, bro. Now I will be using Logic in this tutorial, but the same principles apply for whatever DAW you choose to use. Just the layout will be different. Okay, so let's get going. First off, we're going to load up a new empty project. We're going to Shift Command save it and name it Killer Beat because that is what we are making. Next thing we want to do, we're going to go up here to the tempo. This little number right above keep. We're going to set it to 85. Now we're ready to find our first sample. Okay, so we're going to go up here to the top right, this little loop-de-loop button, give it a clickety-click, and we're going to go to our instruments, on our filters, and click beats. Okay, click beats. Now, I want you to scroll through and listen to the different samples, okay? For now, we're just going to use the blue one, so this little blue icon on the left. Now for this first sample, I want you to think about the sounds that it's making. Not the rhythm it's making, that's not important right now. We're just thinking about the sounds. Because we're going to use those sounds for our percussion in the song. For the purposes of this video, I've already found a sample that I like, so I'm going to get that right now. Okay, once we've found the sample we like, I want you to click it here on the right and drag it over into this gray section under the track lists. Right down here into Quick Sampler Optimized. This will automatically chop up the beat into little sections, which we can play back. Very nice.
Very nice.
If we want to get that window open again, the one I just closed, we can go over here into the inspector, down where it says Quick Sampler, click in the middle, and it'll come right back. Next up, I want you to go into the little timeline, right click, create pattern region. This will open up what's called a step sequencer. Essentially what happens is if you press spacebar, the song will start playing, and you'll see that it's trailing over in this loop that it's created. I can program in certain notes to play at any given point in that loop. So say, nice. Very intuitive, very simple. I want you to go in through the sounds and delete the ones you're not going to use, okay? Ideally, you're going to have at least a kick, a snare, and a hi-hat. Kick sound like this, the lowest sounding drum. Snares, you know it, heard it before, hi-hats. Okay, once we've done this, I want you to program in whatever beat you're hearing in your head. If you can't think of anything off the top of your head, it's okay. Just find the song you like and copy it. No one's ever gonna know. I won't tell on you. Okay, once we've got the kick and the snare down, we can add in those hi-hats. Now the step sequencer has some really interesting functions. I'm not going to get too deep into it right now, but some things we can do just to add some variety to the beat, right? Because it's right now it's just a closed loop. I can, for example, throw in some offbeat hi-hat hits. And I can change, if I go down here, the chance, I can change the likelihood that those hits are the hi-hats are gonna hit. So you can see that it's not always playing through. That way it's just not the same every time. Something else I can do that's really interesting, I can go down here to the skip. And if I make this a skip region, every time that the playhead goes past that step, it will skip a step, and then so that row will be offset, right? Look. So with just those two things, you can add so much variation, and it's not very difficult. Okay, so now we've got our basic beat. Now, you may do this if you think it fits the vibe of the beat you're trying to make, or you may not. But I usually like to do it just to add a bit more groove to this. I'm going to go back into my loop library. And this time, instead of beats, I'm going to go into kits. Kits, all right? I'm going to find something kind of funky that I want to play over this beat. Not to cover it up, but just to complement what I've already done. Okay, here's the one I want to use. I'm just going to take this and drag it right under. So right now, this busy disco break is louder than my main beat. So all I have to do, this little dial right here, bring it down. That's the volume. Just going to bring it down a little bit. So see how it just fills in the gaps, you know? I'm still getting, that's the main thing we're hearing, but I'm still just getting a little bit more groove. Now, like I said, you know, you've got your opinion. If you think this doesn't sound better, that's okay. Don't use it. Each person produces differently, and that is what makes it so magical. Okay, so now we've got the basic percussion down for a beat. So we're going to go back into the loop library, and this time we're just going to go, you know, whatever we're feeling. You know, right now I'm feeling like electric piano vibes. So I click here, electric piano. I'm trying to find just like a basic riff to go over the beat, okay? It can be anything you want, really. I usually like to have something that's chord based. In other words, something that plays more than one note, right? So maybe piano sound, you know, it doesn't have to be piano, it can be a synth. Anything you think that'll fit the vibe you're going for. Okay, so this is what I've got. We're gonna drag that in. Okay, so a key to using samples is to not use them exactly the same as the original sample, because you're not being creative, you know, you're not adding yourself into the beat. So what you can do is you can chop it up, you can move portions of it around. So I'm going to show you how to do that right now. Easiest way is to just hover over the place you want to split, hold down Command, and double click. See, I've split it into two now. So for this sample, I don't really like the second half. I just like the first half, so I'm going to delete that second half. And there we go. Okay, next thing we need is a bass. So we're going to go back into the library, and just like the first beat we used, we're not looking for the melody of the bass, we're just looking for the sound of the bass that we like, okay? So down here, we can go into the bass. I want a synthetic bass for mine. You might want electric bass, and just scroll through. Okay, so we're going to take the bass sample we like, we're going to throw it down into the quick sampler, optimized again. Except this time, instead of chopping up, we just want to use a certain portion of the loop and re-pitch it, okay? So here's how we do that. Up here where it says classic one-shot slice, we're going to go into classic, okay? Whatever section of the sample you like, I want you to select it here by moving these two playheads. If you can't remember which section you like, you can open up a keyboard by pressing Command K. And if you play the keyboard, it will play the sample. Notice how now when I play different notes, it re-pitches it. Now, if you want your bass to play longer notes, but there's not a long enough note play in the sample, what you can do, you can go here to loop and hit loop forward. Now we can select a portion of this clip that we want to loop when we play a sustained note. So notice now, it loops it. Mine's clicking a little bit. If it clicks like that, just move them around a bit, play with it until you find a portion that won't click. Now, I don't really like how you can hear it restarting, you know, when it loops. You know how it's going ba, 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 ba. I just want it to go ba, right? So I'm gonna try and find another portion of the audio where it won't do that. Maybe over here. If you can't get it to stop clicking, you can try changing the loop options. You can go to alternate, for example. It's kind of cool. Okay, so once we've got this bass sound in, we're gonna go ahead and make another pattern region. Now this time, we wanted to play a melody, not just multiple hits, right? We wanted to change the pitch that it's making. But if you don't know anything about music theory, how are you gonna know what pitches to make? Don't worry, no music theory in this video. We're gonna go to this button right here and click it. Let's open the pattern browser. We're gonna go into templates. Now, I want you to go back into the library and whatever sample you used, you know, for the riff, for the song, I want you to look it up again, okay? I chose this one. And I want you to look at where it says key and look at that, all right? It's always gonna be an uppercase letter, either by itself or followed by a lowercase m, okay? If it says nothing, then you don't have to worry about it. You can play, you know, pick whatever key you want for your bass. The key, by the way, it's like the neighborhood of the pitches that are used for that clip, right? It doesn't tell you exactly what note it's playing, but it's telling you roughly which notes it could be using. And by extension, will tell you roughly which notes would sound good if you play over it. So that's what we need to know. So mine's A, and the lowercase m stands for minor. So I'm gonna go close this again, go back into my dubstep synth bass. If this window down here is not open for you, you can go up here to the little scissors and open it up, or just press E. Now in the templates window, we're gonna go down. If your sample had no lowercase m, then you're gonna go to major. Mine had a lowercase m, so I'm gonna go down to minor. All right, there it is. And then over here, we see this little letter, the C. We're gonna change that to the uppercase letter that was in the key. Mine was A minor, so I click here on A. Now, all of these notes that I play, because it's in the same key as the piano, it's gonna sound good no matter what, right? Guaranteed, it's gonna sound good no matter what I play, it's gonna sound good. If your sample here had no key, no problem. You just pick any key you want over here and it'll sound fine. So now I just want you to play around putting in notes in the sequencer just like before, okay? And play it with your loop. Something you can do, you can press C on the keyboard and it will make a loop section up here. So if you play the song and go to the end, you'll restart. And the final tip for you, if you want your bass to play a longer note, you just have to go here, switch to tie, and then you can join steps together. And then if I activate this step, it holds it for a bit longer. If you don't have headphones, you might not be able to hear this. That's okay, you can believe. Also, if you want your bass to play a longer pattern, you can go over here where it says 16 steps and click that, and however long you want it to be. I'm gonna change mine to 32 steps. All right, so I've programmed in the bass. Here's what mine sounds like. So now, if you're happy with where your beat is, you could leave it right here, you know? It's got all the elements you need to be officially called a beat. But if you want to take it one step further, you can add one more sample in just to add a bit of interest. And this one can really be whatever you want it to be. It can be a melody, it can be weird sounds, it can be dialogue from your favorite TV show, anything you want. I'm just gonna throw in a string sample I found, but you can get things from YouTube. You can just put anything you want in here right now. Now, depending on what you found, you can choose to process the sound using whatever technique we've used until now. You can choose to chop it up, like with the first sample. You can just throw it in like the second sample. You can put it in and then edit it a little bit, like the third sample, or you can put it in and repitch it with like the bass sample. So that's what I'm gonna do for mine, but you can do whatever you want. So just like with the bass, I'm going to select the note I want to play, and I'm going to make a pattern region, go into templates, minor, same as before, A minor. I'm just gonna throw something in there. Okay, so now our beat's done. All we have to do now is sneeze, and then we can arrange the beat however we want. So maybe I just want to start out with this piano sound, okay? All I have to do is drag all these other sounds away. And then to make another region, a region is like an audio clip. To make another piano sample clip, I want you to hold Option and just click it and drag, and it will make another one, okay? So now when these other things come in, I don't want these strings in yet, so I'm just gonna pull these over here. And maybe I don't want this disco beat, so I just put this over here. And now we're gonna drag these, pull over, pull over. So now, once the arrangement has made, you're probably going to want to export the beat to MP3. So to do that, we just have to select the portion we want to export. We do this by going up here, so it's a slightly lighter gray area. Click it on, and then extend it to as far as we want it to go. Once you've done that, we're going to go up here, File, Bounce, Project or Section. We're going to select the format. Usually MP3 is good. Normalize on, okay? Gonna hit OK, and wherever you want to save it, just hit bounce, and it will do it. All right, and there you go. That's the beat. Like I said, super simple, super quick. Don't need to know any music theory, nothing like that. Now, there are some really simple ways you can make this sound even better, you know? Make the sounds mix together a bit more, add some special effects to the sounds. But I'm gonna say that for a different video. If you like another video on those techniques, then leave a like, you know? And if there's anything specific you'd like to learn about, then just leave me a comment. I'd love to hear your guys' beats. You can send them to me on Instagram, and I'll tell you what I think. I bet you guys can come up with something 10 times better than what I made in this little demo tutorial. So yeah, thanks guys for watching, and I will see you next time.